With the new trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, we found out that there will be a whole new team of spider people. So let's answer the question. Who are the weirdest spider people that could join the team? Coming up first is Cosmic Spider-Man. In the comics, Spider-Man briefly fused with a cosmic entity known as Captain Universe. You know, as superheroes do. And this allowed him to become one with the universe and harness godlike powers, including the ability to manipulate all forms of matter. Since Across the Spider-Verse will be in 2 parts, I can see the scale expanding to this level. Next up is the 1978 Japanese Spider-Man. Rather than working for the Daily Bugle, this version of Spider-Man spends his time off as a motocross racer. And in the Japanese TV series, he has a giant robot suit. It's pretty likely that he'll show up in Across the Spider-Verse, because all the way back in 2019, before the pandemic made people like me go insane making videos like this, all the way back then, one of the writers confirmed that they have a design for the Japanese Spider-Man. Alright, let's kick up the weirdness. Next up is Spider-Monkey. Yep, it's the Spider-Man from the Marvel Apes universe. Why isn't he Spider-Ape? I don't know, but as the name implies, it's a universe of Marvel characters that are all apes and apparently monkeys. Unlike the other Spider-Man, this ape is lethal, so don't mess with him. He might go bananas. Next we have SpiderPunk. This guy's a punk rocker and rebel from a universe where a fascist government takes over America. He starts a rebellion and faces off against Norman Ozzy Osborn, who's become president with the help of the Venom symbiote. Spiderpunk's like if you took Green Day and you made them Spider-Man. Actually, that sounds horrible. Don't think of it like that. Moving on. This has got to be one of the absolute best on the list. Spider-Man. This version answers the ultimate hypothetical. The question every Spider-Man fan has asked. What if Aunt May was Spider-Man? Yeah, it's just Aunt May as Spider-Man. She could show up, who knows? The Aunt May in Into the Spider-Verse did seem to be pretty skilled in combat and pretty much everything else. So it won't be the weirdest thing. Next up is Assassin Spider-Man. This Spider-Man's different because he'll kill you. You know who won't kill you though? SpiderCat. While only appearing a couple of times in the comics, this cat has faced off with a pigeon named Venom. So when's Sony making the SpiderCat vs. Pigeon Venom movie? DC is making that Super Pets movie with Dwayne Johnson, so I don't see why not. Next up is the Web Slinger. This version of Spider-Man sees him suited up in the days of the Wild West, complete with a spider bandana and a gun that actually shoots webs. So the only question I have is who should play him? Trick question. You know it's gotta be Chris Pratt.
He's so cool.
And of course, who could forget the Hostess brand Spider-Man, aka Golden Sponge Cake Spider-Man. You heard right, there's a Spider-Man who fights crime with Twinkies. In fact, he once took down the most dreaded villains in the universe, the Twinkie Takers. Tragically, one day, on his way to a date with Mary Jane, Golden Sponge Cake Spider-Man was killed by the multiverse villain Morlun. That makes me way sadder than it should. You just don't see it coming, you know? Give me a second. I'm okay. How can you make a Spider-Verse movie without the ultimate Spider-Man? I introduce to you Italian Spider-Man, the only spider character to have received a film that does justice to Martin Scorsese. This Spider-Man has very nuanced character traits that are sure not to offend anybody. Okay, he's not a Marvel character and he was created as an unofficial Australian parody, but this is so weird I had to put it on the list. You think any of these versions could appear in Across the Spider-Verse? Which spider people would you like to see in the movie? Let me know in the comments. There's just one last question I have. Who could be strong enough to challenge all these spider people? Big Wheel.